This is not something that I have seen addressed in a video, so I want to do it today. My friend is an expert on all things YouTube, and he gave me 5 reasons why Doom YouTube channels are getting fewer views now, and I think it ties in to the game itself and why players are quitting. Let's talk about that. Number 1, for a game to succeed, it needs a massive casual audience. You need those raw numbers. Doom Eternal sold $500 million worth in its first year, and that would not be possible without the size of the audience that it had. Now, yes, it is not the size of Pokemon or Fortnite or whatever else, but all of the die-hard players that are still here 2 years later, we are a part of that. We were casual at one time, and hey, some of us might still be casual. I play for fun when I can, I make videos. I am not a sweat lord like some of these other guys are, but the thing is, you need that group. You need all of the players coming together. You need those Hurt Me Plenty, I'm Too Young to Die, Ultraviolence, Nightmare. Everyone plays a part because, hey, let me just be honest with you here. I know some people who have played this game one time through and they're done. My friend played it on Hurt Me Plenty and he enjoyed it. Another guy I know tried to play it on I'm Too Young to Die. He had fun, but he only really made it to the first arena. You know what? That's the thing. We see these YouTube videos, we see these streamers playing Nightmare, Ultra Nightmare, mods, and we begin to assume and have this skewed perception that that is what everyone is. But that massive casual audience is the core point, the cornerstone. Look at Tag 1. Whenever it was nerfed down, the community went crazy, which we will get into just a part 2 here in just a second. But the casual players that are the core of this game, id wanted to look at them and make sure that they were having fun and enjoying themselves. But that leads us to number 2, the massive pro scene like speedrunning or a competitive scene. This keeps an audience coming back, makes the news frequent. Now, we do have an awesome Doom Eternal speedrunning scene. I may not run Eternal, but I did run 2016 and I try to keep up with everything. We have so many dedicated people that love this game and breaking down every single thing they can about it. Now, the only downside that I think is it's not the passion, but it's the player count. You look at like Super Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, the sheer volume of people there that are watching on Twitch, watching these YouTube videos, watching speedrunners like Cheese and everyone else, the numbers are massive. We don't have those numbers even though we have that passion. That's the thing. And we don't have a competitive scene like CSGO. Now, I know a while back I did this thing called the Slayer Showcase where I did like esports commentary with some friends like Mayo over some of the top players running through doing challenges. I mean, we even had Hugo on the mic at one point, but we just don't have that scene. We don't have something that is a massive speedrunning competitive size. It's good that we have the passion, but we need more people. So if you are interested in speedrunning the game, I can give you the resources you need to join that community. They're all very helpful people, and they will help you out. But we have to look at point number 3 next, and this one is a little rough. It's constant updates. Now, this is where it gets tough because a game like Fortnite gets a ton, or Apex, PUBG, because during these updates, player counts can spike and people can come back. We're actually at one of the lowest points of Doom Eternal's player count history, it seems like, at least according to the Steam charts, which may not be all the way accurate. But having those updates brings us back. Whenever October hit with the update 6.66, we had some good players and we had some people that were back here rocking and just playing and having fun with the game. But we need that constantly, and unfortunately when you get to a point where the game begins to sunset, the updates become less frequent, and then they become from major updates down to bug fixes to cosmetics. That's when you start to see things change because it is working on their next game. We know that for a fact. But with these updates, they are so crucial to a game's life that when we first have the game released, I mean, man, we get a bunch of them. I was doing videos on Update 2, and then we had Update 3, which was Tag 1. Things were popping, things were great. They're teasing all these new things, but without those updates, those are the lifeblood of a single-player game. And those single-player games especially, multiplayer definitely too, needs these updates. But bringing us to our next point, number 4, multiplayer. Yes, most people play the campaign and then they quit. Multiplayer is so key. I mean, I want you to think with me here, all right? Go back and look at your memories of games over the years. Whether it's COD 2, Xbox 360 multiplayer lobbies, cursing out your friends and calling them names, which is a crazy time. I didn't really play COD, but take a look at those experiences that you had with your friends, whether it was MMOs, whether it was FPS, whatever it might be. I look at Return to Castle Wolfenstein back in 01, 03 with Enemy Territory. I will never forget playing that game. It was such a good experience. I loved everything about that time and that scene in that game. But the thing is, Doom does have a multiplayer. And I know there are some deathmatch mods out. I know there's a co-op one in the works. We do have battle mode. But multiplayer-centric is not what Doom Eternal is. Most players that play this game want to play the campaign. There are core battle mode players that will absolutely help you. And again, I can point you to a resource, Spicy Demons, if you are interested in learning battle mode. But there's just not the majority. When you have the majority that is a single-player game playing the campaign, it is tougher to maintain that longevity that a multiplayer game has. And that's just because when you're with your friends, you have more content, so to speak. You will have these matches that change every time, and you can have that bonding experience with the friends, and it's just nice to have that in a way. And now you can mimic that in single players if you get on Discord, if you get on streams talking to friends, but it's not the same thing. And what happens is the longevity of the players, their lifetime value, so to speak, with multiplayer goes on and on longer. Like I said, most people play the campaign and they just quit. That player is gone. They may come back for updates, bringing it back to point number 3, why the updates are critical, but they kind of go off. It's an ebb and a flow away. If you bring them in, they go out. You bring them in, they go out. But multiplayer is able to ride that wave a little higher, a little taller, a little longer than the single player games that people play and they're done with. Now, there are dedicated players. Point number 2, remember when we talked about the massive pro scene versus a casual scene, we are here like 2 years later, 800 hours later, trying to dissect and analyze every single thing we can about this game, but not everyone likes that. Not everyone wants to play that way. Not everyone wants to be an Ultra Nightmare Sweatlord. It's okay, that is fine, but we have to think about the impact that that does have. Now, the impact that what I think we do really well and that we just missed a little bit, number 5, strong social media communities. Now, I will say without a doubt, Doom Eternal has one of the strongest. I mean, Hugo getting out there with the streams, getting in the Facebook group for Doom, getting out there. No other devs really do this. I mean, honestly, think about it. They do not do that. So Doom has a very, very high point that is honestly way above a lot of other games. Not trashing other games, but seriously, look at what Doom Eternal and its software has done in regard to the community. Listening to the community? Now, just because you want to change and the community wants something to happen doesn't mean that's the best thing for the game. So it will take what we say and listen to it, but then they'll put it in as they see fit with their testing and everything they do behind the scenes. But the only thing is that we lack that the other games have that we don't. Again, it comes back to size. Doom is the father of the FPS. Wolf 3D is the granddad. And not many games can say they've been around for 30 years with the active modding community, but it's simply so that Doom is more niche nowadays. We are not Fortnite, Apex, PUBG, Valve, whatever. Okay, I'm starting to go a little crazy here, but VALHEIM. Now, if we could just get the size, if we could just get a little more multiplayer focus, I think that we would have it. Now, I'm very curious to see what the next Doom game does with this and how it can surpass what Eternal had. We said it would be impossible to top 2016, and they did with Eternal, and I want to know what's coming up in the future. Be sure to check out my retrospective here on Doom and the dark side of its history, or the 2-year anniversary video I did talking about some cool stuff. I'm Alston, thanks for watching.